Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Car News of the Month. I'm your host, Owen Griffith. For the month of February, I have 7 news articles I am just eager to share with you guys. The first one here is about Ford in talks of 5 new vehicles under $40K. Now, as most of you know, Ford had just discontinued the Escape, I think it was, which was their lowest end vehicle. And now I think the next one is probably the Explorer, which is not cheap. Just the base price, I mean, they're not cheap. And to commit to 5 vehicles under $40K by 2030 is absurd. Now, Ford has been researching their all-new EV platform, which is supposed to consist of all of their EVs will just be under the same platform, same battery system, same motor setup, everything will be the same. It'll just be interchangeable by body styles and modules. So they'll have a pickup, a sedan, supposedly a coupe, and I'm sure a crossover of sorts, which, I mean, is an interesting concept, but there's no way they're gonna have it for under 40K, at least 5 of them. Now, if they happen to switch it up and have a couple like sedans mixed in there, so let's say for your platform of your EVs, you'll have a sedan EV, maybe a Maverick type EV, crossover, maybe the return of Escape, maybe the Focus will come back, and maybe they'll have a couple gas power plants in there too. I'm hoping the return of either the Taurus or something like that, because I'm a sedan lover. I just think they could do so much with a monster sedan, similar to what Cadillac's doing with the CT5. It would excite me so much. So they haven't announced a whole lot for it. It's just their CEO had announced that there will be the return of the hatchback, and a lot of these vehicles will be under their universal EV platform. So they've got 4 years to figure that out. We'll see if they commit to it and stick to their word. I have a feeling they will let us down. Along those lines, Ford is also looking to partner with Geely, which would also help bring that price down a little bit. They would be able to branch their EV platform throughout Europe and Asia, along with building some in America and having a universal system, which is intriguing to say the least. I mean, that would cut down manufacturing costs by having every plant using the same materials shipped across. Tariffs wouldn't be great if they're kept up here in America, but still could definitely help them a lot. And as of February 5th, Geely and Ford had been in talks in Detroit, trying to discuss how they're going to do this merger, possibly. And this being as of February 5th, I researched this early. Ford is planning to head over to China and discuss them at Geely's plant, and I'm guessing Explorer, because Geely has a bunch of sedans, which makes me excited even more. I hope they don't make it, because I think Geely sedans are not the best looking, but just Ford needs to bring the sedan back so bad, man. I would be so excited. Now, staying with American car news, GM has finally renewed their partnership with Allison. If you guys have been paying attention for the last couple months, GM and Allison haven't quite had the best agreement on their transmissions, and they kind of had a falling out as of, I think it was November of last year, and they've just been fighting, and GM had basically said, you know what, we're done. Just a lot of high school drama BS. And even though GM had pretty much kept using all of the same hardware, they still hadn't quite came to an agreement. Even though Allison really isn't the one who builds their transmissions, they're just the one who signs off on them. So basically they ship them over. Allison had designed them. They built them. I can't remember who exactly builds them, but I'm guessing the GM plant would build them. So the GM plant builds them, ships them over to Allison. Allison checks them off, says, yep, all these parts are in tip-top shape, which I wish they would do with all their transmissions. Maybe their 8 speeds would have been nice, and their 10 speeds, which aren't any better. But nevertheless, the HDs, which would be their 2500, 3500 and above, they had kept putting the Allison badging on these trucks, which was getting them in a lot of trouble and just causing even more drama, even though Allison wasn't signing off on any of them. And they were essentially the same transmission, but none of them were checked over. and caused a couple lawsuits, but since then they'd settled it down and finally agreed on their partnership. So GM will be sticking with Allison transmissions for the foreseeable future. Our next story, it's a thriller of a month. Chrysler has unveiled their brand new Pacifica. God, why can't they just make a cool car? I mean, who even drives these anymore? Like, they're no cheaper than any third row SUV, really. I mean, you might save a couple thousand, but at the end of the day, it's a Stellantis engine and it's the 3.6, so are you saving any money? It just pains me because Chrysler, Chrysler 300s aren't great, but they were cool. Some of them had a Hemi. The SRT8 was a really cool car, I would say. I looked at some of those, the 6.2. I think they had 350 horse. No, I think it was upwards of 400 actually. And it's just, Chrysler decides to just upgrade the Pacifica. And I get it's Stellantis, it's not really their choice. They're just holding down the minivan market, whatever's left of it in America. And essentially all they did was a facelift with LED headlights and kind of modernizing the front, and they kept the back the exact same. There haven't been any sort of pictures on the interior. I'm guessing there'll be a 32-inch TV on the dash like every other updated car now, and just, I don't know, man. I'm surprised Chrysler's even still afloat. I think they're just held up by Dodge and mostly Ram sales, which happens to be Stellantis' best-selling vehicle in America. They plan on releasing the updated model for the 2027 year, and they're expected to have the same 3.6 Stellantis engine, so oil cooler leaks galore, and they plan to announce the electric model shortly after the release. So they will have an EV platform and then the basic 3.6 platform on their Pacifica. The only other vehicle Chrysler has is the Voyager, which is pretty much just a down-spec'd version of the Pacifica with less options. So, such a letdown, Chrysler. But aside from that, let's get back to more modern news. Back to everyone's favorite subject, Ford recalls. Now, Ford, after breaking the record last year with an absurd amount of recalls, I don't even know the number, I'll show the number on screen right now, has started off this year strong. Ford Explorers from the year 2017 to 2019 are being recalled for having possible rear toe link failure, and they are snapping under pressure. Now, on the road, if your rear toe link snaps, your rear wheels are going to cock, and you're going to have uncontrolled steering and probably go off into a ditch. I think they said they had 7 casualties so far, and those have been put under a do not drive call. Experts say the rear cross access ball joints are prone to seize, corrode, causing the failure. They are replacing them with a stronger component, less prone to break. And that's not even the best of it. Ford also recalled 4.3 million vehicles for towing-related issues. Now, this being a less of a hazard, this is only just for towing lights. Multiple Ford and Lincoln vehicles can lose communication with their integrated trailer module while driving, causing total loss of brakes to the trailer. I mean, that's if your trailer has trailer brakes. It also loses the lights. Although they are recalling a lot of trucks, Ford only expects 1% of them to fail the recall testing. That's 4.3 million right there off bat, and that's just one recall that happened over the month, along with, God knows how many Explorers were sold from 2017 to 2019, with a lot more major recall. And I'll be curious to see if they can keep those numbers up. Because if they can break last year's record, that will be impressive. Now, every 60-year-old's favorite car brand, Lincoln, has announced they are making a G-Wagon competitor.
I've been driving a Lincoln since long before anybody paid me to drive one.
I know a lot of people, when they think of Lincoln, they think of just souped-up luxury Fords, which is pretty much all they are. Essentially, what Ford sees is there is absolutely no competitor to the G-Wagon aside from Range Rover and the Grenadier, I believe it's called, which is my personal favorite. That thing is so sick. I got to see one of those at the Detroit Auto Show. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I highly recommend you look it up. That thing is bad to the bone. But that comes with a hefty price tag. I think those are going for about $150,000 for the base model. Still, they are such a good looking car. They basically took the original Range Rover and modernized the crap out of it. Super capable, super good looking, and if I had to buy an Overlander, that would be what I'd get if I had unlimited money. Aside from that, there is no American competitor. So what Lincoln wants to do is they want to take the Ford Bronco platform and just soup it up and have a luxury version of a Ford Bronco. Now, the Ford Broncos are already really nice, but they don't really have every single amenity you could possibly imagine. And I'm sure they plan to have a hefty price tag on that as well if their competitor is a G-Wagon. G-Wagons are not cheap. I'm happy they are going for more overlanding audience rather than the Porsche Cayenne, which is more of the original was kind of going for an Overlander, but they had since souped it down to make production cheaper and basically just make them street vehicles, which is a little sad, but if they can keep their overlanding platform that they're going for, I think it will be an absolute monster. Now, they plan to take the next-gen Ford Bronco, which is supposed to be coming out in 2028. They plan to release it a year sooner off that platform and just every luxury you can imagine for the price tag, I'm sure $150K, fully souped up with a Lincoln badge rather than a Ford badge. And it'll be cool. I'm excited. I love the Bronco. I wish it would just keep upgrading the regular Bronco rather than adding their own body kit, I'm sure will be to it. So, the Ford Bronco is a big vehicle. And I'm not talking about the Bronco Sport, a tiny little, they're talking about the fully capable Bronco, Wildlands, I think they're called. So, I'm excited for that. Now, my last story is probably the one I'm most excited about. I say the best for last here, our only non-American story of the month. The return of the Toyota Celica is finally here. After almost a 2-decade hiatus, Toyota has been spotted testing their new Celica planned for 2027 in its natural habitat, on dirt. Toyota is returning to the WRC. Probably my favorite type of racing is rally racing. I've always loved it. I don't really watch Formula One much. I started to watch a little bit more over the past couple of years, but I've always had just something about WRC that I feel like gets me excited. Now, as most of you may know, back in the day, Toyota Celica was absolute monster. I think it won 2 championships, and they were also caught for cheating in one of those by a weight reduction rule, and they were banned for 2 years. And the Celica, in its last form in 2000 to 2006, I think it was kind of a letdown. Didn't really sell a whole lot. They had kind of quit their whole rally thing after the 90s, which was my favorite body style of the Celica. Now, very little is known about the return of the Celica. Pretty much all we have is 2 pictures, and that's it. Nothing about the powertrain, nothing about anything else. But what this does mean is instead of Toyota returning to WRC with the Urus, they're bringing back the legend, the Celica. And I know a lot of people are upset because it's not the MR2, but I think you won't be surprised to see, now that Toyota has brought back the Supra, the 86, and now the Celica, it's only a matter of time before the MR2 makes its return. There's not a whole lot of competition for that sub-market. I mean, that would be under the 400Z and the 86, who I would consider competitors. There's a large gap for, I would say, mid-size coupe. There's a large gap for mid-size coupe sporty vehicles, I would say. So I think there is a market for it, and I'm excited for the Celica. Hopefully they don't do what Honda did with the Prelude and throw an absurd price tag of $42K on it and make it a little bit more affordable for the masses. When this thing comes out, I might buy that if it's got the right price tag and the right powertrain. So that's all for this month. I hope you guys enjoyed. This one decided to make it a little bit longer. I'm going to do these monthly instead of obviously weekly, because week by week there's not a whole lot of interesting news. I feel like if I go monthly, it'll be a lot more interesting. It'll keep you guys a little bit more engaged, and it'll make it a lot easier for me. And let's cover the mic. It'll make it a lot easier for me, considering where I record is half an hour from my house, and I'm here on a Monday night. Actually, my birthday is tomorrow, but I'm trying to stay on schedule. I want to get these out once a month. They'll probably come out a couple days, probably a week after the month is over. So stay tuned for the next one. Let me know what color tie I should wear next month. St. Patty's Day. I don't own a green tie technically, but whatever you guys want, I'll try to make it happen. I'll pick one comment. That also lets me know you guys watched it this far. So I'll see you guys in the next one.